one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes from the previous meetings. I had a chance to look at those. Questions, concerns, motion to approve. Thank you, Harlan. A second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next up, approving claims and signing the bills. Sandra got those up to us. Any concerns from anyone? Entertaining a motion to approve those.
I'll make the motion.
Russ?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Alright. So, official planning and zoning. Marco.
Yes, all I've got is the renewal for the Indiana Landmarks Advisor Board of Renwick for the HPC Council. Heather asked a question and made me realize also that everyone may not be that familiar with the council or what it does, or especially what Laura does. So there were some emails back and forth that all of you should have been included on. If you have any questions, we've got the chair and vice chair here for the HPC Council, Adam and Dawn. So if y'all have any questions, if not, then just ask you to vote on approve or disapprove the contract and then Paul sign.
Is that same as what last year?
I think it's the same, it's the same now. Okay.
Yes.
Chris, with you. Any questions from anyone?
Motion to approve.
Second. Russ, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, ladies.
When you sign that, Paul, it's just, it's up, just that top.
Talk.
On the back page there. And they'll send back with their signatures and an invoice that,
Sounds good.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, then, manager's report, Bruce.
I have several things, sir. I'll go as fast as you allow me. I'll start with the utility report after June. We pumped 23,742,000 gallons of water. Peak day was 966,000. You can see the wastewater plant numbers. The old plant, we had 11.8 million gallons in. New plant, 8.7 million gallons in. They had been pressing sludge. Most of that was at the new plant. They had not pressed all winter. So they cleaned out the digester at the new plant, 25.3 tons, and they're now pressing at the old plant. Billing, you can see the gallons billed, 15,052,000, 2,532 water bills sent. Sewer gallons, 12,245,000. Regional sewer district, 1,246,000, sent 2,190 bills. We had 35 customer disconnects on July 9th, and 2,574 total bills. Total dollars billed, 247,729. Regional sewer district dollars, $11,030. Maintenance department, 20 work orders, 140 locates. They had one water break. They set 4 water meters and jetted 1 sewer line. Still working on AMR antennas and changing out the old meter heads. 26 shutoffs in June, relocated 2 water meters. Several other things going on, pavement repairs, and they've been working up at their shop, organizing the pipe yard and cleaning things up. That's long overdue. Street department, Sweetland had 1,231 addresses in service. We collected $29,463. Sweetland billed $29,188. Of course, they had a lot going on with Popcorn Festival, the street closures, trash pickup for the Pride Festival. Lots of limbs down. We continue to have thunderstorms, hauling brush, a lot going on there. Planning zoning, you can see Mark's numbers there, 4 building permits, 3 HPC issues, 5 park reservations, and one floodway permit that's active that we're working on. Have any questions on those?
Yeah, I asked before about the total monies collected for the park, since we got output for the bathrooms, those new clothes and whatever. What we're collecting each month, total for the year.
I failed to put that on here, but it would be 5 reservations, would be $50 each. That would be all that we brought in.
Nothing for the building permits and travel permits. If we had such, we got 4 building permits.
Building permits.
Depends on what they're building. A new house is 25. There was one new house, the others are just 15 apiece.
So I know you got a little steep, but you keep all that in and give it to the girl.
Well, I use their receipt book. But yeah, so there was one house, so that would be $25 to $49. That's,
I'm sorry, I didn't put that on there, sir, I'm writing it down.
No
I'll do that next month.
the floodway permit, we do not get any money for upfront. Right now, that's in the DNR stage. And then once if they get approved there, then they'll come to us.
Thank you.
So to the manager's report then, the skate park, we still don't have a driveway permit there. NDOT requested more information. Midwestern has replied with the information. I'm of the opinion that should have been taken care of months ago. CNR pulled off the job because basically they're held up until they have an active driveway permit from NDOT. We hope that doesn't take too long.
The other permit, he only got the week before they had the grand opening on
He
there.
applied for both of them April 1st. It should have been done long before.
He's slipping quite a bit.
I think that's a bad look on us caused by Midwestern.
Everybody asked me, said, oh, are they doing anything to the skate park? Everything just sitting there. So we can't get a permit. I tell them what the deal was. That's all I got.
Yes, on the time frame here.
We don't. Dump truck, the bids are due, for the street department dump truck July 30th. I'll have them for the council to review at the August 5th meeting. School crosswalks, the field work is finished. Plans are being prepared for the council to review. The sidewalk improvement, I actually got that today. This is at the intersection of Elm and Walnut. I've received some options for you today, and if you'll look up here, I'll show them to you. That's the corner we're talking about. They recommend removing everything that's in the red dotted line. There's no ADA crosswalk over there at all, ramp, I mean. And the one here is not proper, the one crossing West Walnut.
So they're actually putting 2 in there, Bruce.
Yes.
To make it.
Yes. The stop sign would have to be relocated. Of course, they're not showing the pedestrian sign in this photo. I got it from Google Street View. But we have the pedestrian sign and the stop sign would have to be relocated as part of that. That's the existing part that would have to be cut out. That's the plan view. They give me 2 options. Top of the page is crossing West Walnut, to the right of the page is crossing Elm. And they talked about putting the pavers or the brick in there. The other option is putting some landscaping in there. I don't know how fancy you want to be, and it could just all be concrete.
I think inclined to go a little simpler there, you know, festivals and things like that, we don't need, that's,
All the activities, there'd be a lot of mulching, rocks and gravel, whatever we put in there, go away in concrete.
the way that like popcorn, that's why we're all in that corner.
I would say just concrete is, at your consensus. I'll go back to them with concrete. I think they will want to repaint both crosswalks as part of this. And we'll just use the existing, flashing crosswalk signs. Okay, that's what I'll go back to them on. Hail damage, Sharman Construction went with me July 9th. I got their report today. I left it up there for you to read. We have multiple buildings with hail damage. I don't know if you want to talk about that, if you want me to have Daniel Sharman here at the next meeting to discuss.
Did we have the insurance adjuster that came out to look at this, that they'll have to look at it?
We did not know the buildings at that time. So some of the buildings are not damaged on the list, and some of them are.
Right, but normally the adjuster would look at them all and say no, yes, no.
He came to not Sonder.
He came and he only looked at the town hall. He did not know anything about the other buildings yet. So I've got to contact, JP is the adjuster, the field adjuster. And I'll have to call and schedule him to come back, but he's already got the estimate for the town hall to that insurance company, that they want to know if you all go through the bidding process or if you all just choose a contractor. I told him that I would ask you all, because I thought you all did the bidding on whoever to fix, get an estimate or whatever, I don't know.
It appears we have several.
I have two estimates here. I have them laying on my desk. I don't know if that's
Just for the town hall,
Yes, just for the town hall.
nothing on any of
It's,
That's another
question. Is $10,000 deductible on each
Each
site?
building,
So some days won't be $10,000.
I don't think.
I think we schedule the adjuster back out to look at the ones in question.
I think so too, because he was asking me today when I called to ask him if he got any information yet. And he asked me, well, what about the other buildings? And I said, I haven't heard anything, so I'll call him in the morning and let him know I've got a list of the buildings now for him to go look at. So, and then we'll go from there, but insurance wants to settle up pretty quick, according to James Morris at the insurance.
Which I didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sorry.
I have-
Yeah.
I make a motion that we have the adjuster return, give his opinion, follow through with the estimates first
From the other buildings.
damage on the other buildings, and we'll go from there. Then table that to the next meeting, we will have documentation to take care of such.
Okay.
Agreed?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You never talked about this building. I have two quotes for this
Yeah, but
building.
this building we can look at.
This building, I don't have the information from the insurance adjuster. He did not send that over.
Is there any reason you would want Daniel Sharman at the next meeting so I can have him schedule it?
I don't see any reason for that in here.
Okay,
He's got an estimate, he knows what it is, but
Just
just
ask
ask
him.
him on those other things, and I'll,
if any of you want to know, Schroeder Builders is the Mennonites from Martinsburg, and they did work for me at South Harrison Water. So that's who Schroeder Builders are. Good, reputable company. Number 6 here, I'm just gonna bring this up as a wild card. We kept talking about the Bicentennial Park crosswalk and no parking zones. And I was driving around one day, and I crossed the slab bridge and saw those yellow markers that's on the edge of the slab bridge. What do you think about putting those up through the no parking zones so people can't park?
cost,
I don't have a cost. I'd bring it back to you at the next meeting. It would be minimal, and Kenny could do it. We keep having trouble with people parking there and then food trailers.
Close enough, I think,
but
we
we
can.
may get,
I don't think so, because it's already there parking.
it's on the,
It's a constant problem in that.
I can ask you.
please do.
Okay.
We don't have to go do things twice.
We find out that cost and then we can, all arrangements.
It'd be nice to have a more permanent solution.
Well, it really deter anybody from pulling in there.
Right.
The school administration building, I put this on the list. They are added on to their administration building up there, as you all know. They requested a new 2-inch water meter for the expansion. We moved the old small meter, put a 2-inch meter in. we talked about doing that, because all that's in the admin building is bathrooms. The engineer insisted they have a 2-inch meter, so Dave did the form, sent it to them, the cost, $23,677. That includes the upgraded sewer tap fee for 2-inch meter. They agreed to pay for it. I want you to know, we tried to talk them out of it, and insisted on doing this. Dave and his crew set the meter yesterday, Friday, they set it last week. So it's done. Also, they have asked that we abandon an old 4-inch cast iron main that runs from the front of the school corporation to the southeast over towards the elementary school. It goes under the playground and tennis courts. They're doing work over there on Beachmont Drive, drainage work where they're putting catch basins in and going to repave that parking lot with tennis courts. So that line needed to be cut and capped. So we told them that we'd be happy to let them do that. It's not used, it's not needed, if they pay the cost to do that. So they have CNR doing the parking lot. So they said they would have CNR do the work and pay them directly. And just letting you know, there's no need for us to do it if the school corporation is just going to have their contract to do it. And pay.
CNR that we use all the time.
Yes. Yes.
All we need to do is supervise that project.
Yes.
I'm assuming, Bruce.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sounds good, okay.
Long-term parking, Lester, I had you in mind when I put this down. We've had problems in the past with campers parking at the Bicentennial parking lot for extended periods, just really as a storage spot. It's not parked there now. The same campers parked now at the old Park Chevrolet lot. And I was asking, would you consider maybe doing an ordinance and putting signs up at all the town public lots? No long-term truck, trailer, boat, or camper parking. I'm just throwing that out because it's been a problem.
I asked, yeah. You know, that one motorcycle parks there in the winter, and they keep it covered, you don't move it all winter long, it says right, that's not over.
Yeah, same way. Yeah. What we consider in long term? You'll have to specify.
Up to you to decide in an ordinance, it would have to be specified in an ordinance.
We've had several vehicles moved over there, as vehicles themselves, with no license on them. But you can't move it over there.
7 days, 14 days, it's up to you.
Next thing we have to monitor, set things for these long-term parkers and assess what we would do in the event that they did it, did not pay attention. And,
She didn't know.
Just told you. Be told, you told them.
So,
told.
man, something big.
Yes, I need something.
I'm just asking before that camper ends up parked back down there, there's nothing we can do. You can't make it move if you don't have ordinance.
I think we ought to have an ordinance.
It doesn't sound like, if you don't, we don't have to have it.
As we don't have already.
Mr. Burns, your thoughts?
We can draw up something.
Motion to have Chris draw up
Yeah.
a ordinance.
Well, within
Citing
7 days.
said information, might work with my group so that we get what we think we need. How many parking lots do we have in the county garden besides this one, that one, and Rice Island?
Rice Island's got a sign overnight park right here. You can
Is
read
that where the semi park?
on Rice Island.
Five, counting flag lot, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Five,
How long are we thinking?
Can you handle that, chief? If it
Sir.
comes about, that's what I thought. That's
I'll keep an eye on them, I'll call you, you know how I
my. Get in line.
want to give us a time, 15 days, 21 days, what do you?
Chris will work it.
Seven?
Yeah, maybe cover 7 days.
Okay.
And I would make it so that plus number for any lot, so that you can't just move it from one lot to the next lot, to the next lot every 7 days.
I mean, is the bicentennial lot used for any of the residents there?
Yes.
That's the only, that's nice, and one where I'd be a little
too short, I mean, you know.
So,
A lot of motorcycles there and it's raining for a week, are they a violation because they don't move the motorcycle, you know?
I mean, it's up to you and how you enforce it, instead of speeding, you can write a speed ticket today, or
Well, is there anything that we put a sticker or identification if it's a residential car that's supposed to park there, have the ability to park there? I mean, is
These
it,
residential, they're renting, and they have a lease. And the person that's in charge of that property could be notified, explain to the tenant, no long-term parking in the parking lot.
I mean, is that designated as the parking place for that leased facility? Or is it, they just park there with cars?
And we don't-
Kind of like here. Everybody from over there parks in here. Right, Mark?
I mean, where are they supposed to park? I guess is my question.
That's it, but I don't know if that's.
We count the other lot back there, but it's back, that's.
Is the problem that they stay and don't move, because residents generally would come in.
you know, they don't, yeah.
Right,
But if you drove by every evening at 8 o'clock, that
They
car
might.
would look like it never moved. If, you know, assuming that they're home by then. Wonder what's in their lease as far as where they're supposed to park or the ability to park. I'm just wondering, that's.
They don't have any rights at least to get a park in public parks.
I know, I was like, I don't know what, you know, they've been told or wrong.
So, but don't we have leased parking spots to businesses? So some of those,
They pay a fee.
some of those apartments might have a spot that they're paying for, but I've never seen it, so I don't know.
The Berg Democrat parks their trucks over here across the street. Doesn't seem like it's causing any problem. She called me about it one time and said, I'll park there until we throw them away, I guess. We didn't have any.
They were gonna move them because we talked about it and then decided to, you know, split dirt and everything, so.
But you do use them.
Yeah, yeah, they do move, they do actually use them.
right, yeah, Wednesday, the,
Okay.
so 7 days. Is that what- I mean, realistically, most,
I'll just grab something. I think you need to want something that has teeth in it. And you don't want to put signs up that say was violated will be towed. And then you can choose, I mean, like I said,
discretion.
yeah, I mean, because I think if you put all these exceptions in, then you're gonna have an ordinance that's got so many holes in it, it's what we're working with.
Yeah. We really don't want campers in the town parking lot anyway.
The town of New Middletown had a gentleman living in a camper on the street. And they passed an ordinance saying the campers could not be parked on the street. He moved it and then bought an old boat. Parked where the camper was,
It's sitting on the street now.
no motor in it, no nothing.
Need a vote on it.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Yeah.
Let's go with that, Mr. Bergeron.
Emergency lighting, we talked about that, Harlan, at the last council meeting too. I contacted the vendor about installing emergency lighting. He came, we did a walk around with Ron. He found 2 of the existing emergency lights that do not work. He's going to repair those and then, put new ones in at the old plant. Ron asked if he could do a couple of other electrical jobs while he was there. There were 2 receptacles that don't work, light switch that don't work. So I haven't got his quote back, but as soon as I get his quote back, as long as it's reasonable, I'll issue a PO and have that done. I'm gonna let you
I'm
know.
assuming that, he's cognizant of what the safety issues are regarding that, and that the work that he would do would, of course, bring that to, we don't have a safety officer as such,
He's
licensed with buildings, grounds, or anything, which, when OSHA comes, they don't care what you've got, so,
He is a licensed electrician.
good deal.
I have several grass and weed letters here. I'll show you the pictures at the end here. 503 Floyd Street. They've got furniture piled up out along the street. Somebody moved in and just took all the old furniture and piled it out there. I've got neighbors complaining about that. I'd like Mr. Bird to send a letter to them to have that removed. I've got a picture at the end, 210 West High Street. This is behind the Constitutional Elm. Again, I've got neighbors complaining, it doesn't look like anybody's living there. I'm not sure, grass needs cut, whether it's there. There's no cars there. Yeah. No cars there at all. 119 Capitol Boulevard, again, it doesn't look like anyone's living there. That needs a letter sent to them. 829 Capitol Boulevard, neighbors are complaining there. There's a junk car that pushed over the hill in the yard. The grass hasn't been mowed. Need a letter sent. And then I'm getting complaints about Holiday Liquors right here. Their address is 112 Beaver, but behind the building, neighbors are complaining. The apartment manager has complained from the apartments next door. Behind that building is a mess. They haven't mowed. There's weeds. Johnson grass is falling out in the parking lot. There's trash back here. The old equipment has been abandoned behind the building. I'm asking you to send a letter there. And I'll run through the pictures here, including those. This is the skate park. So the pad is done. We're just waiting on the driveway permit.
Question on that, Bruce, so the rebar or whatever that's laying in that parking lot, is there a purpose for that?
That's scrap. They pulled out of the ground and just hang on. Okay.
Kind of an attractive nuisance.
I'll tell them. Sunset Ridge, a landscaper was out there working today. Eagle Court, I'm just shocked at how slow that project's going. The last couple of months, there's just little to work, any work done. This is the meter they put in at the admin building. This is the bus compound, which is behind the school. There'll be a line extension there and a 2-inch meter for them. Nelson Seal Coating was out today working on the Farmers Market parking lot. It's done. That shows an area that's been crack sealed and sealed, and some that's not. They're going to come back and stripe it. I don't know if they're coming back tomorrow, but it will be striped this week. That's the gazebo that was done. It's a little bit bigger than what was there. It is securely anchored to the ground. There are sunshades on the back side of it that can be pulled down. These are the marker posts I was talking about for the no parking zone. I'm sorry I took that through the windshield and you're seeing my vent, but that's the furniture and trash up on 503 Floyd. So I'm asking you to send a letter to them to have that junk all removed.
Just so you know, I stopped there this evening, the lady come to the door. She says that she just moved in. That stuff was there when she moved in from the prior tenant. And of course, she doesn't feel that she has to get rid of it or pay that. So.
Is that a rental tenant or?
They're the price of the owner's responsibility.
Just a tenant, so.
I wouldn't think that she had that.
The neighbor that called said that they moved it out and put it by the street when they moved in. It was left in the house.
I didn't see that. So that letter needs to go to the 10th feet.
Right.
Send it to the owner and, don't have to worry about what the tenants do. It's out, it's probably. Motion to approve that Chris send letters to those residents, please provide trips.
503 Floyd, that was that one. This is 210, West High Street behind the Constitutional Lounge. I've been by there 3 days and there's no cars parked there. I don't know if someone's living there or not.
Yeah, that owns it, lives in Ohio. That's your Kent State. His son has been living there since he moved down.
So what about, did your motion cover all of it?
Well, yeah, let's take a look at all the pictures and we can.
That's 210 West High. This is 119 Capitol Boulevard up in the corner.
West Street.
This is 829 Capitol. The Johnson grass growing up in the yard, and then that's the car shoved over the hill. And it's right on the property line with the neighbor,
The license plate fits better too, according to the neighbor.
and there's no license plate
I
on
can
it.
see there.
See the picture.
Yeah.
This is 112 West Beaver, Holiday Liquors. That's the back of the building behind the fence. It's all kinds of junk in there, the old ice machine. Johnson grass is falling out in the parking lot. That's all.
All right, so is there a motion on letter and all those, anyone, any objection to any of those, I guess?
Corner property that we looked at before, they weeded in the back a little bit, it's still the same thing in the front. Chief, what are we doing with the vehicles up there on the floor, on the corner? You know, where
Like corner, they're all parked in the versus property. So I don't know,
insured, licensed,
we would have to check on it and see, I can't verify the insurance, but I actually make contact with them and request that. I can't legally make them at that point in time, give me insurance information. I can run the plates, make sure it's properly, licensed, and if they're not, we can do something. And we're hoping that it's, you're a whole problem, but it's
ongoing. I'm sorry, Paul, I interrupted you, but I'll make a motion to send a letter, have here send a letter on all those properties that were.
Sounds good. Is there a second on that? Les, oh, second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Bruce, anything else since that's your?
No, the next one, DEQ.
Okay. We got the paper on this.
Yes. I gave you the final pay application for the electrical work at the sewer plant. And I gave you a sheet showing the, I'm looking for it, whether it was under budget or over budget. It came in under budget by a few $1,000s, which is good. I can't find my paper. So I'm asking you to approve the final pay application for the DEQ sewer plant electrical work, pay application for $79,150.
We good, Madam Treasurer?
Yes, we are.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, another, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. We can get down to the number 3, and we'll go into Joe. Joe, need a picture, what's that first,
That,
or, oh,
I said that we've got a picture that was donated down here to be displayed. I know Bruce, you hung it yesterday and, on your wall. But we were talking with the Discovery Center, that that'd be a better place for it to be viewed, where people actually see it versus we got all the way here. So I was gonna suggest a motion tonight to give it to the Discovery Center for display. But you hung it yesterday, so I don't know.
would they take it?
Yeah, they will. I've already asked them.
That came from, Dennis Mann, I couldn't think of his first name, Mr. Mann, he came in and asked about it, and then brought the picture back. Be happy to take it down, a couple of screw holes in the wall.
Second.
I mean, I think it just be, somebody will actually see it first, just hear it, nobody will understand.
good.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, Jill, say yes or no. CCMG update, changes there.
There's some changes that, I think you should be aware of. The towns utilize that program, each year they've had. So, there's been some changes. I thought you all should be aware of it. So I've got, and Bruce is gonna put it up here in a second, but I've got a copy of that, handout or presentation. So And some of this involves just what the towns used it for. So the Community Crossings Grant was enacted in 2016. And the town did not use it in 2016. The requirements, and I can go into more detail if you want, but the requirements were such that it wasn't advantageous for the town to use the program. You had to use a certain funding source for it, which communities your size maybe had $2,000 to $5,000, and then you had to provide 50% match. What are you going to do with $10,000? So the town didn't participate in 2016, but in 2017 they made some changes to it, and you participated every year since. And then 2016, and you'll see when we get to the history of how the towns used it. There are some years there was only one round, then other years they went to 2 rounds, and that happened up until this year, where it's just been 1 round in January, and then it's been put on hold till they can figure out what this new House Bill 1461 means to them and put out a new application. Go ahead. So this is just a history of what the town has used this for, how many road sections you've done, how much NDOT paid for. These are actual costs. Some of you may remember you put in an application and then you get awarded for that application that's based on estimates. Then NDOT wants you to advertise for bids. So you get your bids in and you tell them what you think it's actually going to cost. And then at the end, they do the work and then they tell you whether they used as much as they did, or maybe they used more, maybe they used less. So these are actual costs. So you've done 78 road sections. NDOT's contributed a little over $1 million. The town has contributed about add those two together, a little over $400,000. The ineligible costs that are listed there were things that the town maybe wanted to do that were not eligible for the funding, but economies of scale, like the street department, parking lot, some other areas, cemetery streets. If someone's going to come in and pave, you get a better price if they're doing a lot as opposed to just one. So that's mostly, I think, all of what the ineligible costs were. So that totals about 1.4, almost $1.5 million in project costs. And if you do the math there, you're about 27 cents for every dollar in NDOT. So it's been a good program for you to use and stretch those dollars out to get the improvements done. Go ahead. So some of the major funding or changes, there's only going to be one funding round a year that coincides with the state's fiscal year. I don't know that you're going to notice a difference there because the town generally, even if there were 2 rounds, you only applied for 1 round. And generally it was the July round. There was a January round and a July round each year. And the town generally applied in the July round. So I don't know that you'll notice much difference there. But you will notice in the 4 major changes on how the funding will be distributed. So change number 1, they're going to set aside $100 million each year to fund this program. Now, to give you an idea, the average amount of funding that was available across the state for this program was $245 million. So there's going to be less money available to you. $145 million less. And so the projects are going to be more competitive. In the past, if you did what they asked you to do, which was have a pavement asset management plan uploaded to the local technical assistance program, LTAP, by December 1 of each year, and had a certificate from them saying, yes, you've done this, and you submitted an application in the time frame they asked, and you answered all the questions correctly, and answered all their comments correctly, then there's a 99% chance that you get funded. That's because they had such a large budget and they wanted to push this money out. That's what happened. I don't think that's going to happen in the future. But that's what the normal operating has been for you and for this program since 2017. Change number 2, $20 million will be set aside each fiscal year for 2 railroad programs. So they're going to take $20 million and set it aside. The good thing is that this goes away after a while. So there's a railroad tax credit that expires in 27, and then railroad fund or crossing improvement program will expire in 2030. So that could mean that that $20 million goes back into the pool. You know, next year, each time they convene, General Assembly convenes, they could change any of this, and they could change anytime they wanted to.
Is this 20 million up to 100?
No, the 100 million is set aside. I think these other funds are how they're spending that other $145 million possibly. You can go ahead now. Change number 3. This is permanent until they change the law again. So this does not expire, but 50 million is going to be set aside each year for road improvements. They're subject to certain types of improvements for Marion County and Indianapolis. So 50 million of that shortfall or whatever that difference is going to Marion County if they match it to $50 million. So until they change the law, that's going to be there, and that 50 million is going there if they can match it. Here's where it hurts too. Change number 4. So there's going to be a formula-based distribution that starts in June of 27. So after all those other things are allocated, so the 100 million for the competitive round, the 50 for Marion County and Indianapolis, and the 20 for the railroad programs, then it's going to be distributed on a formula based on road lane miles, subject to 2 eligibility requirements. One is the LPA, which the town cordon is the LPA, must have adopted a wheel tax, which, you know, I could be wrong on this, but I don't think the town is I don't think legally you can adopt a wheel tax because of your population. Now, correct. So you're under 5,000 in population, you can adopt one if you wanted to.
Right. We have to be under the county.
And well, and from what I understand, it doesn't matter if the county has it or not. You still don't qualify as having wheel tax unless they've interpreted that differently.
I was told to ask
Okay.
the county if we could be included.
Okay.
That's what I was asked.
And I think this is part of why MDOT suspended the second round of this year, which normally would be in July. So normally I'd be before you and say, hey, we'd like to apply for these road sections. They suspended that to figure out how they're going to interpret and what they're going to do, and probably the answer to that question, which is going to be a $100 million question, right? And then you must have provided LTAP with an updated transportation asset management plan within 12 months. Now you do that. So depending on the wheel tax, you may or may not, whether the county enacts one, number 1, and number 2, you can be included in that, then you may not be eligible for that formula base. You can go ahead. Some other changes, the good news is they changed the match from 25% to 20%. At least for what applies to you. There are other changes related to that, but for the town of Gordon. And they've put townships in the mix too, which is a little different, because the county usually took care of anything that was outside of municipalities. So, you know, a township can enter agreements or MOAs with you or anyone else to make improvements using community crossing. Of course, that's another group that's in the mix now that wasn't in the mix before for getting the money. So, and then potential reduction in what your restrictive motor vehicle highway is, which will be determined by your average PACER rating. PACER rating, and Kenny Bloom and his staff are ones that generally go around every 2 years as required for that asset management plan, that all your road sections have to be rated every 2 years. According to this PACER system, it's a specific system and that is developed in Florida, I believe, that it shows people how they rate roads. So if your average road rating is above a certain amount, then you may be able to have less restricted MVH money. But the downside of that are their new PACER requirements to be certified to do the PACER ratings. And there's another QCQA certification. I'm not even sure what that is for PACER ratings. So that means there's more training that's involved. The training that was involved before, I went through it. I could grade a road then 10 years ago. I don't know that I could remember all of it now, but I don't think it's difficult training, especially if you're dealing in that. But Kenny has been taking care of that for, well, since probably 2017. I don't know, is that the last note? So some things that I've already said, if you can't fall under the county's wheel tax, if they enact it, then you're thrown into that pool of 100 million, which is statewide, which, by the way, there is a caveat that even if you get the distributed amount of community crossings, if you have a wheel tax, and you possibly could apply for the competitive round too. So that just makes things more competitive for people that don't get that distribution. My thought is now, I don't know what makes an application competitive either. Hopefully NDOT can provide that guidance, since before it was, if you fill it out properly and do what we say, you're probably going to get the money. There was no real competitive nature to it. Or they didn't say, well, we want to rate safety projects higher than just regular road maintenance. There was no guidance about that at all. It wasn't necessary. I don't know what they're going to do. My thought is that you need to try to be very, not that you aren't thoughtful in what road sections you put forward, and you looked at it in this way because you could, how much money do we have to support as far as the match is concerned, and how many sections can we do? But you might be more thoughtful in what you put forward and make sure it's more impactful. Maybe those projects that are maybe cost a little bit more, so you can really take advantage of that 20% match as opposed to just milling and asphalting roads. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And then I think as these new certifications and the trainings come out, I know Bruce is your, oh gosh, what do they call that? ERC.
ERC.
He's the ERC. And then NDOT sends out a newsletter periodically and talks about trainings and what trainings are available. They generally are free. I know you get those as an ERC, they ship all that stuff to him. So as that comes out, we can make sure that you all know, and then if you want to have some of your employees certified to do those things, that would save you some money in the long run, as opposed to hiring a firm that could do that for you.
So these changes go into effect in 27.
I think some of them going into effect next year, don't they?
So
It would be,
we can put
some
in,
do in 27, but right now there's no NDOT application at all. We can't apply for anything right now.
but you expect them to come out with an application where we can put in one more time?
I don't know. I haven't gotten any. At first I thought that, but now I don't know that. And the new newsletters that have come out since this bill was enacted, they haven't had anything. They said they're still working through it. So I don't anticipate there being an application this year. That's my thought. Now, I've been wrong a lot, and I hope I'm wrong there too. But I don't anticipate anything coming out this year. For sure, something will come out before the end of this fiscal year, which would be before the end of June of next year. But I haven't heard anymore. All that can change tomorrow too. So I wish I could be more, I wish we knew what was moving so that you could plan accordingly. But I know that Bruce and Kenny have been working on some things. In lieu of this, Kenny was ready to apply like we normally do, and I told him, hang on, there's not a round this time. So one thing that your employees have been is very persistent in pursuing that funding over the years. So
Like Marion County came out.
if they can come up with the money to match it, so, but you'd hope they can. And you didn't apply for the maximum. I mean, the maximum for your size, I believe, was moved up. It wasn't $1 billion. I think it was moved up to $1.5 million. And the town never applied for the maximum amount, but I know a lot of counties did. And some of them will be hit pretty hard too. So, if y'all have any questions that I can't answer, I'm sure.
It was kind of late now, so
We can see the updates are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jill.
I'm sorry, it's,
Is what it
any
is.
other
You're
questions or
getting
anything,
lost.
anything else of me? So, okay.
It was a good program while it lasted.
It was a very good program while it lasted, and I think a lot of communities took advantage. I think almost every community in the county took advantage except for maybe one. And some took advantage multiple times. So I think it was a very good way to stretch your limited dollars.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cass Williams.
For the last 3 years, we've held an event over here at Harrison County Fairgrounds in the Window Ag Building. It's called Nights on Israel. It was started by Christmas Night for Israel 20 years ago. And it's growing every year. The first year, we had 20 Jewish people attend and 101 Christians. Last year, there was 45 Jewish people that traveled here and about the same number of Christians. This year, based on what we've been told, we can expect somewhere around 200 people in that neighborhood, give or take. I'm here to ask for security for that event. It's August the 21st. We would like to have a minimum of 2 officers inside the building and 2 outside patrolling around the building. We've never had any incidents in the past. We hope not to have any this year. But with the way things are across this nation, with the anti-Semitism that's going on, in even rural areas like our county, I would rather play it safe than look back and say, well, why didn't we do more than what we did? So I've been told that I had to come to the board to get permission for the Gordon Police Department to provide security for it.
Just for 4 officers,
Yes.
2 in, 2 out.
Yes.
The ground's actually in the county, is it not, Bruce? Have you discussed that with them, Williams?
Not this year.
Actually,
Not this year, I have not. The first year, that was when the October 7th incident happened in Israel. And there was only 2 Nights to Honor Israel done east of Mississippi. Our church was one that did put it on and didn't cancel it. And we had the Harrison County Sheriff's Department. And I was told by Nick Smith that they had the Indiana SWAT team here. There was 2 FBI agents here and an ATF agent here. The FBI, the ATF was inside the building along with some of the Sheriff's Department. The SWAT team was stationed up at the high school parking lot, and the rest of the deputies that the sheriff used, I don't have a clear number on that, was outside the building or patrolling close to. We had no incidents, nothing happened that night. But last year, we did not have any incidents either. So, but no, I thought I would come here first and see what you would do or not do and go from there. But it is a good thing for the county, it is a good thing for the town.
I think for a couple of issues, as Harlan mentioned, why it's in the county, but 4 officers patrolling one area, we're going to look at it and kind of take them off the normal. You don't have that big of a police force. So
I know you're
that's
small.
a pretty big ask, I guess, for
I know you're small.
big burden for They could pull off the.
I talked to Matt, and Matt referred me to talk to the board, and just as he would, he said he'd make himself available tonight to answer any questions that, or concerns that you had, and so he can address that far better than I could. I know it's a small town with a small force, but I do not know what your, capabilities are in police departments. I don't know that, but Matt does, and maybe some of you do.
So I think maybe I'll talk to Nick Smith, since he's the one that's been overseeing it the last couple of years, but that would be the proper route for it, since it is a county facility.
And they got a lot more manpower to
That would
potentially allocate.
be the proper route for that facility and support it.
I understand.
I don't know what they done in the past, but typically, private entity doing something, that entity is responsible for payment of the officer's time.
I understand that.
For that.
I understand that. Okay. I will, address this issue with the sheriff, but I do appreciate your all's time. I really do. I thank you for your time in this, and y'all have a good day. Be blessed.
Good night.
Next up, on Main Street,
Something quick today. So I just want to share some quick updates. It's been a very busy and soon to be festive fall season in Corydon. Planning is already underway for several cornerstone events, including the Harvest Stroll, Blackstoberfest, Light Up Corydon, and the newly renamed Historic Corydon Holiday Tour. The Harvest Stroll is shaping up to be a fun day designed to drive foot traffic directly into downtown businesses. Participating merchants will hand out sweets to ticket holders who will receive a bag, an event map, and entries for prize drawings. Whoever wins those drawings will receive gift certificates that will bring them back into the shops downtown. On larger events, Blackstoberfest returns this year, October 17th and 18th. And many of you are familiar with this event. It's one of the larger ones of the season, and its planning's underway, and vendor applications for artisans and food trucks are still open. Light Up Corydon is already in the planning stages. Our team will be meeting soon to review and refresh our holiday decorations. We're looking forward to making the square shine bright again this season. And the Historic Corydon Holiday Tour of Homes is set to feature 10 incredible locations this year. The Masonic Lodge, Applegate Manor, Loddick's House, the Wright Center, the Posey House, William Henry Harrison House, Harrison County Arts, the Griffin House, the Yellow House at 516 East Chestnut, and the Governor's Mansion. Tickets for this and other events will be available soon, so stay tuned for those updates. A few reminders. The Corydon Farmers Market is in full swing every Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. and will run through October. So make sure to stop by and support all of the local farmers and vendors. First Fridays returns August 1st, featuring the band Bourbon Sour. And we're looking forward to a great evening of music and community, and also a new pavilion. And finally, on a personal note, I did survive my first month here, and I made it through. Today I actually did my first round of quarterly reports with Main Street, Indiana. So if I look a little frazzled, it was a look. So I want to thank you all for your incredibly warm welcome, your teamwork and collaboration, and especially during events like the Harrison County Popcorn Festival. They've been nothing short of inspiring, and it's something truly unique to Corydon, and I'm honored to be a part of it. And I want to know who put it out there that I missed the Popcorn Festival because I was on vacation, because I got terrible food poisoning in Mexico. It's okay. So I look forward to all of the events ahead, and if you all need anything, I think I'm pretty well versed that you all can stop by at any time now. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I promise I'll remember earlier this month.
That's right.
Bourbon Sour. Yeah. I don't have a food truck yet.
Usually the Thursday before the meeting at 3 o'clock.
Perfect. I emailed her and said, is it too late? And she had just put the agenda out.
Any other, any old business?
I got one thing. I need you to get a motion to sign, all of you to sign the sales disclosure on the tax property that we got. The old, dirt line, where the camper, I think it's cut park now. Just need a motion to
So
sign.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
John Hancock.
Sir.
All hands.
Any other issues?
Yeah, I got one question. Mr. Brennan, we got him on track to pay him now, is that? Brennan, that was his name, Brennan, the wastewater treatment plant guy.
The guy that was here at the last one that was talking about saving money on the new and old sewage
Oh.
plants. That guy.
Beeman.
Not Brennan, Freeman, yeah.
I mean, the only thing we got is the invoice that you, or the quote that you all approved.
That was for quit,
Yes,
so he's not charging us,
not yet.
he's gonna charge us.
I think what will come is and I asked him this up front, and eventually he's gonna ask you, a contract to pay him some of the savings. Not until we see the
Lock
savings.
his feet in contract, get it to Chris.
Yes.
And, bring it before us.
Okay.
Any other issues from anyone?
Well, I just got stuff for you all to sign.
So, new business.
New business? Oh, yeah, that's all, okay.
I got a new.
You got a new? Yes.
It's not new, but it want to be a new. We reduced some force in the street department as well as the water department and et cetera. And now we have a little spare change. And I've been harping about this since I came on the board, human resource person, okay? So since we have those spots, it's a good time to maybe discuss that. I took a little time, went over to Fort Knox, Kentucky, where the God Almighty Human Resource Training Center is for everyone, and discussed some of those things. He gave me a lot of points and gave me a whole bunch of information I didn't know. But I would like to make a motion that we entertain having Sonic start looking for this, make a job description, do the basic things. That way, when the new people come in, either hire some of the current people that we have on board, we're not using the method at which we have untrained people discussing that, because it's not only their medical insurance, it's the public employees retirement fund. All this would be done by that person, taken care of, and we get valid information rather than, this is what I think. So I'd like to make a motion to entertain that Summer begin that process, and then of course we would be talking later about hiring, salary, and et cetera.
So you're proposing, the proposal at this point is to have Sandra kind of put together a proposal or like how much help they could provide, how much they could specifically what they would.
And then we can go through the other steps of the process at that time.
I'll second that. I mean, I think we need that layer of protection, and we owe that to our employees to have somebody to go to when they need help or direction or assistance. So I'll second that motion.
Concerns, questions from anyone? All in favor, we got a motion and a second, is all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Sandra,
That good?
take and run with it.
I'm
Thank
loving
you
it.
for
Yes,
that.
thank you very much.
Any other new business? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
You promise?
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Motion and second, all in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Everybody.